Hey friends, it's Mel. Welcome back to my kitchen. If you are needing some quick and delicious dinner inspiration, you've come to the right place. This week, we're talking casseroles, cast iron, and sheet pan meals. If that sounds good to you, sit back, relax, grab your sweet tea, and let me do the cooking.
Okie dokie, tonight we're not at the frying pan. I don't have anything to fry tonight. Can you believe that? But I do have 2 of these yellow squash, and I'm slicing these up. I'm doing a chicken and squash casserole. I have been seeing the squash casserole everywhere, and I think it looks delicious, but I haven't had it yet. Then I saw this recipe for a chicken and zucchini squash casserole. And I thought, that's what I'm going to do. Because I like zucchini too, but I really, really like the sweet taste of squash. So I am going to make that with some squash. This is a recipe from Six Sisters stuff. Try to say that 3 times real fast. I know you guys have heard of them. I'd like to be one of those sisters. Them girls can cook. And I have already cooked my chicken up. I had some just chicken tenderloins that I needed to get cooked up. And I cooked them the other night, overnight in the crock pot. Because honestly, I sort of forgot about them. I had them in the refrigerator. And I kind of forgot that I had them in there and they needed to be cooked. So I just threw them in the crock pot and I let them cook one night there over the weekend. So usually on a small group night, well, I'm going to have me a bigger cutting board. I just don't have anywhere to keep one. Anyway, usually on small group night, we do what my kids have called speed food, like chili buns, frozen pizza. We do sandwiches, something real quick on this night. Leftovers if I've cooked on Monday night, because I like to be able to have this cooked and basically cleaned up before my meeting starts at 7. So, okay, I don't know why I'm doing that. I need this diced. I'm not slicing this onion. I need it diced. I thought this looked delicious, and I'm going to try to hurry and get this mixed up before Patrick gets home, because I'm not going to tell him that the squash is in there. I think he'll be fine. He has eaten fried squash. It ain't his favorite. He kind of fusses about it sometimes, but I really don't even think he'll taste it in here. If he don't like it, I can fix him a hot dog or something, but sometimes you just got to sneak stuff in for them to try, and they see that they do like it. Now, let me dice up this little onion right here. I don't know why I started out slicing. I don't know what I thought I was doing. And this called, actually, for zucchini. It said 4 or 5 small zucchini. I had about 2 medium yellow squash that I have chopped up here. Okie doke. In this bowl right here, I have 1 box. This is just cornbread stuffing mix. The 6-ounce box. It's like stovetop. Going to start out with this in a bowl. And then in my handy butter melter, I have a whole stick of butter. This is also called 1/2 cup, in case your sticks are different sizes or something. Just going to mix this up and get this kind of moistened. You're not doing this per the stuffing package directions on top of the stove. You're just trying to get everything just a little bit dampened with some butter. And most of this mixture is actually going to be in the body of the casserole. Now, it does say to remove 1/2 cup of this and save that back for your topping. So I'm just going to put some back in my little coffee cup that I've melted my butter in. Now, into this stuffing mixture, it says to put 3 boneless, skinless chicken breasts. You could get your rotisserie chicken. You could use canned chicken. Do whatever you need to do to make this easy on yourself. And I'm just going to eyeball it here. I'm just going to do a couple fistfuls. This was a big family pack of tenderloins that I had. So I have no idea like how many breasts would have made up that package. Okay, that looks good to me. Let's break it up just a little bit more. Some of those big chunks. I'm going to get just a little bit more. Okay, I think that looks perfect. I just have a smidgen left in this bowl. I think I'll mix up some chicken salad to have for lunch this week. So I've got my stuffing and my chicken. And now we're going to take this. And I also did a whole small little onion. We're just going to put that down in here. Then it calls for a 1/2 cup of sour cream. I'm just going to eyeball it. And this sour cream looks kind of funny because it got pushed to the back of the refrigerator and it got frozen. And then I had to let it thaw out. So it's got kind of a funny texture now, but it is fine. Then you're going to use a good old faithful can of cream of chicken soup. Now, something else I'm going to do before I start mixing this up, I'm going to season it up a little bit. I'm going to throw some cracked black pepper on here. Then I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of my Auntie No-No's everything. And this has salt, onion, garlic. I think this would be really good in here. Just a little. Mix all this together. Now, I've got this mixed up, and y'all know on my regular chicken casserole, I do a little layer of cheese right under the stuffing, and I really feel like I need just a little bit of cheese in this. So I'm going to take just some shredded cheddar, just like a little handful, and I'm just going to mix it in because this one is probably not going to be completely covered with stuffing, and I don't want that cheese to get like burnt or anything. But I do think just a little bit of cheese mixed in here. Well, you know, you just can't go wrong with that. Okie dokie, I've greased a 9x13 pan. I have this mixture mixed together to the best of my abilities. I'm going to spread it in this pan. This is a really sticky mixture. I hope that it doesn't get dry or anything. There was no broth or anything in the instructions, and I normally put a little broth over mine. I'm just going to trust the process though. Maybe these will give it a little added water or moisture to it. We're not going to talk about that right now though. Can't get it all covered, can we? Maybe we can. The evidence. Now we're going to take that little bit of stuffing that we kept out and sprinkle it over the top. I have stuff, of course, to have a big salad, which is very easy and delicious. You know, I love that. But with some kind of casserole like this, I'm like feeling the spirit of macaroni and cheese tonight. Some of that, like that I showed in my grocery haul Wednesday, the white cheddar mac. Just to have that on the side and maybe some green beans, something like that. I just feel like a big cozy casserole like this needs a little bit of macaroni and cheese. So 350 degrees uncovered. It says to cook it 40 to 50 minutes. And let's see what we come up with.
I did decide to go with the green beans tonight, and I'll show you how I've changed up making them just a little. I still use salt, pepper, and butter, but I have taken some of your all's advice and a hint from Mandy in the making with her brown sugar and started adding that to my green beans. I also was at my neighbor's house for a little get together, and her mom made some delicious green beans, and she used brown sugar and bacon, but she also put a little bit of soy sauce in hers, and I did not have any soy sauce, so I'm going to have to get some of that and try that. But I did put the brown sugar. I didn't have any bacon, but I just cooked them real hard on top of the stove like I always do. I did add a little bit of oil since I didn't have bacon. Here comes this delicious squash casserole. This was so yummy. I absolutely love this. I can't wait to make it again. When all the summer squash and zucchini start coming in, I will for sure try it with the zucchini like the original recipe says, and I will have the recipe links for these meals in the description box for you. Patrick also liked this. It took him a while to figure out. He asked me what I did different. I hem-hawed around and told him a few things. Finally, I said it has yellow squash in it. He ate it. He liked it. Not any complaints out of him about it. But I know he does like the original one better, I could tell. I will definitely be making this again. Oh, and I was worried about the moisture content and it getting dry. That did not happen. This was perfect. Now I'm going to do a sheet pan dinner. And the great thing about sheet pan dinners is there's not a whole lot of active cooking involved in them. The main thing you have to do is just get all your ingredients chopped up to the right sizes. And if you line your sheet pans, spray them with some nonstick spray before you put everything on there. Nothing sticks, and you have a very easy cleanup. I'm using some really thin, boneless, skinless chicken breast. Now we're going to do the creamy topping that's going to go on it. You use 1 can of cream of chicken soup. I'm throwing in just a little spoonful of some minced garlic, about a teaspoon of parsley flakes, and then I'll put in about a 1/3 cup of Parmesan cheese. Just going to mix all that together really well, and now let's season everything up before we put our sauce on. I'm just starting out putting a little bit of olive oil over everything, and I did decide to split mine up and put all of my potatoes on one sheet pan because I knew they would take just a little bit longer because they're potatoes, and then I put my chicken and my broccoli on another because both of them would cook fairly quick. One tip with sheet pan meals is to try to make your vegetables that are going to cook quick, cut them in larger pieces, and then the ones that are going to take longer, smaller pieces, and try to keep things about the same size. So I did try to get everything coated. I brushed the oil and used my hands on the potatoes just to get everything coated with the oil. I'm going to season it up with some black pepper and my anti-no-no seasoning, which is salt, onion powder, garlic powder, and some other seasonings. Once I get everything seasoned up, we're going to spread that creamy mixture over the chicken, and you want to use all of this mixture, even if it seems like overkill. It will kind of cook up, and it makes a beautiful sauce to dip any of your vegetables in. I put this in a 425 degree oven for about 20 minutes, and then I cut my chicken up on broil right at the last to get it brown and got some nice char on that broccoli. I let my potatoes go just a little bit longer. This was so wonderful and juicy. The author of this recipe was right. That creamy sauce was wonderful to dip in. I love roasted broccoli with just a little bit of char to it, and this was perfect. Now I'm going to make some cast iron steaks on top of the stove and finish them off in the oven. Patrick had found us 2 prime boneless strips. Look at this, bona fide prime steak. This was such a good deal. He got both of these for under $11. I'm using this new garlic butter blend. It's got some pepper, onion, it even said jalapeno peppers, but this was just a new little seasoning he had got to use on stuff that he was smoking, and I thought I would try it out on these steaks. So they have come to room temperature, and I'm just coating one side of them really good. On the other side of the stove, I've got some olive oil on about medium-high heat in my cast iron skillet. I'm going to lay these steaks down and get a good sear on each side before we put them in the oven. This just takes about 2 minutes on each side, and I do kind of swirl my grease around just a little bit in there to make sure everything gets nice and crusty. I'm going to go ahead and season the second side of these before I flip them, and then I'll give them about 2 minutes on the other side as well. I like my steaks well done. I'm just not the kind of person who can eat a steak that has a whole lot of red in it. A little bit of pink I can do, but I don't like the texture of that, and I sure don't like how it looks. I'm not able to do that. So once I let these get crusty on the second side, I've got my oven preheated to 425 degrees again, and I'm going to throw them, skillet and all, in there. And I cooked them about 6 minutes. Took them out, checked the temperature. It was about 140, so I thought that would be perfect. I just threw a little bit of butter on the top of them and let it melt down into that steak. This was so tender. I only wanted about half of a steak. Y'all know I'm not a huge meat eater like this, but this was delicious. It was just so tender. Patrick had nothing but good things to say about this. I think it is tickling him that I'm getting good at making these too. He doesn't have to come in and do them. Look how beautiful that was. I had just a few more red potatoes left, so I roasted them, a big salad, and I had some of that leftover chicken and squash casserole too. So I had a turf and turf dinner. This was wonderful. Be sure and check your meat cases at the grocery store for your manager specials. This stuff is still good. You can throw it in the freezer and use it later, or you can just cook it up that day or the next. It is a wonderful way to treat yourself when grocery prices are out of control. Friends, thank you so much for being here this week. I hope this has given you some meal inspiration. Every one of these just required a little bit of prep work, and it made the meals come together so easy, and cleanup was a breeze on every one of them. I hope that you've had a wonderful weekend, and I pray you have a blessed week. Thank you for being here, and until I see you next week, I send you love from my kitchen.